Good evening. Good evening and welcome to the Worcester Area Chamber of Commerce annual dinner meeting. In the same year that Marconi received the first transatlantic telegraphic radio transmission, and in the same year that President McKinley was assassinated, this chamber, under the direction of Walter D. Foss, the president of the Worcester Brush Company, held its first annual meeting. Tonight, our outgoing chairman of the board, Robert Walton, the vice president of finance and business at the College of Worcester, will preside over the 106th annual meeting of this organization, an organization that obviously has a long history and also a rich history of supporting and promoting business in the Worcester area. We have several sponsors to thank for helping to make tonight's event possible. Our bronze sponsors include Accurate Office Equipment, CNC Video Productions, Magna Power Company, Metals USA, Murr Printing, NPI Audiovisual Solutions, Spranger Retirement Center, Tech4 USA, Westview Manor, and Whitaker Myers. Our silver sponsors for tonight include DNS Distribution and the Worcester Glass Company. And our gold sponsor for this evening is National City. Would you join me in thanking all of our sponsors? We're also grateful to the Worcester High School speech and debate team members who helped this evening in directing and parking vehicles. This past year, the Chamber's Board of Directors and the Worcester community lost one of our finest members and citizens, a man respected by all who knew him. I would ask that we devote a moment of silence in the memory of Chuck Finn. Thank you. Tonight's invocation will be delivered by Enid Lader from the Knesset Israel Temple.
thank you, and it's certainly a wonderful honor and a privilege to offer words of invocation this evening. We are taught that the world stands on three things: on learning, on prayer, and on acts of loving kindness. If you know about a three-legged stool, if you have only two of the legs, the stool cannot be supported. And so the world is supported by our prayers, by our learning, and by the acts of loving kindness. And when we think about the people who are being honored this evening, we thank God for their presence in our world to keep it balanced with their acts of goodness and volunteerism and wonderful connections, and feeling that they are truly acting and being God's partners in our world today. We thank God for the bread that we are about to eat, that God has helped create from the earth. And we thank God for giving us life, for sustaining us, and for bringing us to this very special occasion. Amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to introduce United States Representative Ralph Regula, who will present a United States flag of honor to our retiring chairman of the board, Robert Walton.
Bob, I'm delighted to give this flag to you. It's been flown over the Capitol of the United States. I hope it will be a continuing inspiration to you as you tackle the problems of the education system in Wooster, Ohio, because if this flag's to fly with pride, or flags like it in the years to come, it's going to depend on the education of our young people. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, Congressman Regula. Good evening, everyone. On behalf of the entire Board of Directors of the Wooster Chamber, we welcome you this evening to celebrate what is the recognition of very fine business and community leaders that we're going to honor tonight. Each year, the Chamber Chairman summarizes the activities of the prior year, in this case 2005, and Mr. Lezak has requested that I try and keep this slightly under 90 minutes. What this really is intended to do, in my experience, is to establish as much pressure as possible for Mr. Long, who's taking over, so that he can feel anxiety, stress, and terror, actually. In any event, the Chamber this year did its regular great job. The staff are to be very much congratulated. We performed a host of different activities that many of you regularly attend, including Wooster Fest, the Business Showcase, the Home and Garden Show, and the charitable events, probably best symbolized by the annual Field of Dreams softball tournament for our youth, challenged youth. But during 2005, the Chamber became much more focused and involved in an important area of economic development. Through the Chamber's new Economic Development Committee, we have dramatically increased our efforts and our work with the city administration and the council, and we do want to acknowledge that they are working in partnership with the business community and deserve a tremendous amount of credit. We're working on policy, strategy, and tactics to attract and, equally importantly, to maintain business. The Chamber has and will continue to actively participate in things on the smaller level, such as the proposed planning and zoning rule changes that are currently under review that affect so many of our members. And we're continuing to explore how to improve infrastructure services, and to pick one example, how to provide business and industry in this community with clean, reliable, and uninterrupted power, something that many people take for granted, and it has become a very big issue for a lot of communities throughout the Midwest. During 2005, we did something new. The Chamber launched a new coalition for the support of business and jobs. It's a political action committee, simply stated, intended to represent the interests of business in making sure that our elected officials and the policies that they form focus on things that we think are important. I believe that the business community played a very successful part in launching that, and perhaps one of the things that will be evidenced by that is what will be a beautiful and spectacular new public library in downtown Worcester next year. So 2005 was a full and active year. Crucial to the success of all these efforts was the Chamber's Board of Directors, and at this time I would like to recognize them and thank them for their service and their energy. If you'll look at the screens, we'll kind of acknowledge them. Mr. Blinko, Bill Blinko, Dana Schmidt, and joining the board this year is Bill Sharon, Larry Wetz, and our returning board members include David Benfield, Ted Bogner, Bill DeRhodes, Dwight Dowse, Julia Fischelson, Becky Foster, Sandra Hull, Brenda Linick, Greg Long, our new chairman, Bob Mapes, Wendy Morris, Mike Pilata, Terry Riley, Peggy Schmitz, Martha Starkey, Fred Schroyer, Ken Vagnini, Deanna Walenchek, yours truly, and Ty Young. I'm grateful for the efforts that the board had in terms of all the work and endeavors that they undertook this year. And as chairman, I believe that Greg Long is inheriting an enthusiastic and dedicated group of people who will be well representing the Worcester business community. At long last, I'm very happy to announce, and I'm handing over the gavel, I'd like to introduce Greg Long. And at this time, it's my pleasure to introduce your 2006 Chairman of the Board of Directors, Mr. Greg Long.
Thank you, everyone. It's great to be here tonight, and I sincerely appreciate the wonderful turnout and the spectacular job done by the entire Chamber staff to plan this great event. My first action tonight will be to thank Bob Walton for his many fine efforts during the last year. Although the gavel has been passed along to me, Bob's impact on the organization will continue to make us better for many years to come. Thank you, Bob. We appreciate it. I also want to thank Mike Lazak and the entire Chamber board and staff for the wonderful job they do year in and year out, because without them, it just wouldn't work. And I also want to thank the Chamber Board of Directors and thank them for their many volunteer hours and their excellent contribution to the Chamber and to our community. And lastly, but most importantly, I would like to thank all of our Chamber members and the tremendous support that they give us on a day-to-day basis. I am very proud to serve as the 2006 Chairman of the Worcester Area Chamber of Commerce Board of Directors. I consider this a daunting task and will devote my full attention to this role. My other volunteer positions will have to take a back seat for a year while I tend to my duties here. As with every new year, 2006 offers much hope for new beginnings. We have much to be thankful for in Worcester, Ohio. 2006 also brings many challenges for us to overcome. The recent elections clearly illustrated economic development as our top priority, and I truly feel economic development is the #1 issue we face, and nothing else is even close. Our wonderful community, the community we're all so proud of, must advocate economic development like never before, if we are to continue to exist in the fashion that we have grown to love and appreciate. Economic growth is critical to each and every one of us, our families, our businesses, our employers, our city, our welfare, and our future. Retention and expansion of existing business and attracting new business and industry to the community is catamount to anything else that we do. In my term as chair, I will pursue economic development tirelessly as the Chamber's #1 goal. While the Chamber has always been a catalyst for economic development and has countless achievements to illustrate our past accomplishments, we have to do more than just want growth. We must demand it. I see the Chamber as a major player to stimulate economic growth in Worcester. Each Chamber member should expect this of the Chamber and should help us in this cause. This must be a community effort, though, to reach the level of success we demand. We must collaborate effectively with our elected officials, with the Wayne Economic Development Council, with Main Street Worcester, with Neotech, Jumpstart, and all the other entities working for economic development to enhance our methods to attract new and retaining existing businesses. We must create the path of least resistance, pave it, and let the world know where it leads. This cannot be a passive endeavor. As the catalyst, we must work with the city administration, city council, our state and federal representatives to demand the right environment for economic development initiatives to succeed. We look forward to working with the soon-to-be-created Economic Development Services Office, and will do everything we can to help facilitate success. All other communities are attempting to do the same thing. One thing is certain: we aren't like other communities. We know and understand the virtues of living and doing business in Worcester. To succeed, we have to demonstrate in vivid, living color all that makes Worcester great. If there is one thing I want each of you to leave with tonight, it's the message that the key to our future is economic development. For 106 years, the Chamber has been active in the economic development of this community, and I can assure you we will continue with that as our focus during 2006. Thank you very much.
For the presentation of the Wayne Economic Development Council's Quality Growth Award, here are Rod Kreider, the president of the WEDC, and David Noble, representing Technographic Systems Incorporated.
Thank you very much, Mike. Speaking of economic development, the Wayne Economic Development Council presents its Quality Growth Award to businesses that have demonstrated a commitment to enhancing the county's economic future. This year's award is being presented to Technographics, Inc., a world-class information technology company with its headquarters in Worcester. Technographics was founded in 1993 by Dee and Mary Vita, and today has annual revenues exceeding $18 million with 210 employees. Last year, it invested nearly $6 million to construct a new corporate headquarters in Worcester. The company is owned by Dee Vita and Alice Noble. Dave Noble represents the Noble family interests on the board of Technographics, but unfortunately, Dee is out of the country and unable to attend this evening, and Dave Noble is home nursing the flu.